Hello, we're back. It's Karl. It's Newcastle Fans TV. How are you? Positive as ever, I hope. Off the back of a pretty convincing win in the end against Bromley over the weekend to put us into the fourth round of the FA Cup, taking on Birmingham City away at St Andrews, which I'm pretty grateful about, as it's quite an easy trip for me, of course. But as I mentioned, I hope you've all had a fantastic weekend. Coming into Tuesday, nearly at Hump Day already. It seems like the days are going so quickly. But yeah, I just thought we'd jump on as, things have already happened and there's been lots of people at each other's throat on social media in terms of Harvey Barnes' performance and Sean Longstaff's performance. And I know myself and Sam spoke about that in a little bit of detail prior to the FA Cup fourth round draw. But just a roundup of Newcastle United events over the last few days before we take on Wolverhampton Wanderers tomorrow in what is arguably a must-win fixture to continue in the excellent vein of form that we've got. Unbeaten in 8 now. Clean sheets in 4 or 5, was it? With Bromley obviously breaking that. Bromley of all sides breaking the clean sheet kind of record that we had. Not record, but the run that we had, sorry. So yes, let's move on to our next slide. This is the kind of format that I'll be using moving forward. So if you guys want to drop in the comments any sort of critiques or things that you'd like me to develop with regards to the live movement of the ticker. We're going to incorporate obviously game clocks, that sort of thing, when I'm doing the watch alongs, which we've done previously. But yeah, if there's anything you want to sort of incorporate, I'll obviously update statistics throughout that as well. We've got access to do that live as well. Using sort of API integrations with regards to what's going on, but I won't bore you with the technical stuff. First one, Harvey Barnes. Harvey Barnes. We were all a bit like, what is going on with the performance? But it actually seems we probably owe him a bit of an apology, some of us. And yeah, Harvey Barnes out for a month. Lots of people said it looked like he potentially could have tweaked an injury, or he looked like he was wincing as he was coming off. So Eddie Howe has confirmed that Harvey Barnes is suffering from a thigh injury and he could be out for a number of weeks, around up to a month. And we know with Harvey Barnes' history that it could end up being a little bit longer than that. Obviously, with the toe injury that he had, the infamous toe injury that ended up being, what, 3 or 4 months out or something crazy. I can't remember. Let's hope it doesn't sort of take that sort of time. But it does answer a few questions with regards to how he did perform against Bromley. Myself and Sam obviously looked at that, and we've spoken about him looking a little bit lazy at times. Not against Bromley, but just in general. But at least this does give some sort of insight as to why he underperformed and wasn't able to sort of take that opportunity. He's obviously struggling with a thigh strain. So yes, Harvey Barnes out for a month. Now, bit of a difficult pill to swallow, because as much as we don't like to admit, I put this out on Twitter, like, it's all well and good people looking at the negative side of things. Harvey Barnes has scored 5 goals with 2 assists. I think it's 2 assists, correct me if I'm wrong. But 3 of those 5 goals have been really important. We obviously had the one against Wolves, there was one against Spurs, and I think another one against Bournemouth. And at least 2 of them very integral in becoming essentially part of the winning goals for us to obtain those 3 points in each of those games, which has obviously contributed to where we are now in the table. It's a similar conversation that we had with Alan Saint-Maximin. I was one of those that, sometimes he wasn't tracking back enough and he wasn't offering enough in this sense. But when you actually looked at the goals that he scored, they were very integral to helping us survive in the Premier League and to continue to help push forward. So I really do think that side of things gets overlooked with Harvey Barnes. And if he is just turning out to be a sort of, we all look at him as a super sub essentially, then is there really any issue with him just being that for us as fans? I'm sure he wants more than that, but if he's finding it difficult to make as much of an impact over 60 to 90 minutes than he does over 20 to 30 minutes, then surely that's exactly what we want. We want attacking prowess coming off the bench. So I don't want to focus too much on those performances, but yeah, Harvey Barnes out for a month with a muscle injury. Now, what does that mean? Obviously, it puts a lot more pressure on Anthony Gordon to stay fit, which is horrible, isn't it? I mean, touch wood, we haven't had many issues with Anthony Gordon's injury record. And he absolutely is one of the best wingers in the Premier League, if not the best winger in the Premier League right now. We definitely need to strengthen out on the right. Jacob Murphy has put in some absolutely fantastic performances, and his link-up play with Isak has been second to none. That partnership is one you definitely wouldn't have seen coming, but has been absolutely frightening and, using the same word again, integral in Newcastle's great run of form over the last 8 games. So it does put pressure on Anthony Gordon. Do you think it potentially reinforces the fact that we do need to sign another winger? There were rumours about Jack Grealish. Would you look at Jack Grealish? What do you think he's even worth now? Because he certainly isn't worth that £100 million. I know lots of people saying we don't need a left winger, but if there is, talk that maybe Harvey Barnes ends up being out for a little bit longer, do we sign another left winger? Obviously, we need to sign a right winger as well. Or is there anywhere else that you would focus in terms of signings? But yeah, it's for somebody that doesn't play 90 minutes is actually a bit of a blow, I think, because it could, without being negative, just playing devil's advocate, it could be that sort of stepping stone to us having some injury worries again at the wrong time of the season. But fingers crossed that isn't the case. As I've mentioned at the very start of the video, moving on to our next point, Newcastle United have drawn Birmingham City away in the 4th round of the FA Cup, which I think is going to be a very good test. Yes, they are a League One side, but they'll be absolutely chomping at the bit, I'm sure about that. They're doing very well in League One, have been a very, very solid side as you'd expect them to. They have spent the money to get them out of the league, and it certainly looks that they're going to do that pretty convincingly. The likes of Stansfield, etc., have done very, very well for them. So it will be a good test for them. And speaking to a lot of my Birmingham City friends, and I was surprised at this, they want to see how they fare against Newcastle United, which I understand. But the reasoning is that they pretty much play out from the back. And as we know, there's lots of Premier League sides that struggle to do that against Newcastle United, and it's something we almost thrive upon once we're chomping at the bit, and Anthony Gordon, Isak, Murphy all closing down the goalkeeper and the central defenders and boxing them in so that wing-backs and the full-backs can't play out. No disrespect to Birmingham City, but doing that at the level of League One and looking to do that against a Premier League side who are pretty much set up to compensate for that or play against that, I'm not sure that would be the best idea. You let me know what you think. Have any of you watched much of Birmingham City at all? Obviously, there is the sort of not rivalry, but the celebrity sort of endorsement rivalry between them and Wrexham. So they've obviously been in the media more than they would have been when they were in the Championship. But it'll be an interesting one. I'm sure there'll be lots of light-hearted banter as well. But rumours are we're looking at 4,500 to 5,000 if Birmingham City's usual away allocations with regards to the FA Cup are to be believed. I think it's a minimum of 4. So a lot of Geordies heading down to St Andrews. Midland mags like myself and Sam, of course. I hate calling myself that, but I am back in the Midlands, unfortunately. Yeah, so should be a good one. Moving on to our next point. It's just a quick roundup, and it's all quiet on the Western Front. You hear that? No crazy rumours flying about. People not at each other's throats over what should be done throughout the transfer window. Just calmness and quietness. I'm enjoying it. I'm actually enjoying it. Now, I want us to sign players as much as the next fan. But it's actually nice not to be involved in all these ridiculous rumours that we are every season. Now, of course, there's always the chatter about Alexander Isak, but I don't know about you. For once, I'm actually pretty comfortable in not worrying about it. Mikel Arteta came out yesterday and spoke about the fact that signing a striker is out of their hands, and I'll tie that into our final point of this video with regards to Gabriel Jesus being confirmed that he's torn his ACL, so he's out for the rest of the season. So Arsenal really, really in dire straits now and needing to sign a striker, because we've all seen that Kai Havertz is not the answer for that in terms of leading their line. I think he's a good footballer. I do. I won't go ahead and say that he's not a footballer, because that's just simply not the case. German international. He is a very good footballer. Probably just not playing in the right position, and he certainly isn't Isak-esque, which is exactly what Arsenal would need. Can they afford Isak? I don't imagine they can. We're looking at a minimum of 150 million, in my opinion, now. And we've all spoken about, and it's constantly in the media, lots of people like Jay Bothroyd and Troy Deeney and all of those clowns talking about how Isak would be a fantastic fit for Arsenal. I'm sure he would, but almost talking about the fact as if he was already an Arsenal player. It's been embarrassing, and Sam touched upon that. And we had Man United fans coming up. We need to go and get Isak, like he would sign for you. Like, why? But the point being is that I don't think many people can afford Alexander Isak right now, and I'm really, really hoping that he shares the same passion that we do, that it looks as he does on the pitch in terms of wanting to drive this project forward. And as I've mentioned, if everything that is coming out of everyone's mouths from the top of the hierarchy is to be believed, then I cannot really see us looking to offload our prized asset, arguably the best striker in the Premier League in terms of form right now. And honestly, I know this is crazy, I would put him in the top three strikers in the world right now. One of those being Erling Haaland, one of those being Martinez from Inter Milan, who isn't getting anywhere near enough plaudits that he deserves because he's playing in Serie A, but a fantastic striker. And God forbid Isak was to leave, he was certainly somebody I would be looking to go and get. And Alexander Isak. Now, obviously, you've got the likes of Robert Lewandowski, who's still scoring a crazy amount of goals at the age of 36, and Harry Kane, of course, but I just don't feel like they offer anywhere near the versatility that Isak does. And what message would it send to the likes of Bruno, Joe Linton, Tonali, Botman if we were to go and sell him? It just doesn't make sense, and it certainly doesn't make sense with regards to the position that we're currently in. So I am not overly worried. I'm enjoying the fact that there's quiet regarding the transfer rumours. It's nice. And then last time this happened, we ended up with Sandro Tonali. So could that be the case? Are they working on something big behind the scenes and everybody has been locked down, lip sealed, nothing coming out? You know, if it was me, I'd go and get Brian and Burmo. Personally, you let me know who you would prioritise getting. Yeah, and just before we finish, maybe we could try Asula out on the right. Who knows? Could work. Hope you've enjoyed the format of this video, guys. I'll continue doing these as much as possible. As I mentioned, we've got Wolverhampton Wanderers tomorrow in what will be a hotly contested fixture. We need to take 3 points, and I'm really confident that we can do that. However, they are looking in a bit better form. But a big one tomorrow. We'll be doing a match reaction after the game, and I will see you in the next one. Like, share, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. It's been Karl, Newcastle Fans TV. Peace. Ah, damn.